Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're heading, figuratively speaking, to Tamil Nadu.
Right, down in the southern part of India.
Exactly. We've been looking through the sources you sent over, and, well, our mission is to really unpack what makes this place tick. It seems incredibly rich.
Yeah, definitely. Tradition, natural beauty, and just this deep sense of history.
So we want to pull up the key nuggets here. We'll start with the landscape, the natural side of things, then move into the culture, which sounds fascinatingly old.
Ancient, really.
And the food, of course. Can't forget the food.
Never.
And finally, touch on that long history, kingdoms, temples, the whole deal.
Sounds like a plan. The sources immediately give you this sense of just immense variety. Geographically, it's quite something.
Yeah, the notes talk about stunning natural diversity. You've got the Nilgiris, those misty mountains.
3 atmospheric.
And the Western Ghats, described as these beautiful green borders. So what does all that variety, mean for the place, according to the sources?
Well, that's key. It's not just scenery. The research suggests this geography shaped, well, everything. Microclimates, how people farm.
Right.
Even different cultural flavors, you could say, from region to region. You have the coast along the Bay of Bengal, those serene beaches. And then inland, the plains, lush paddy fields everywhere. It's a real patchwork. High mountains, coastline, fertile land.
Okay, so from that physical world, let's pivot to the cultural heartbeat. The sources are pretty clear. Tamil Nadu has one of the world's oldest living cultures.
That continuity is striking.
And the language itself, Tamil. It keeps coming up as one of the longest surviving classical languages. How has it managed that? Not just survived, but, stayed relevant.
That's a huge question. It seems it evolved, yet kept its core structure, its grammar, its literature. So people today can apparently still connect with texts written millennia ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and the culture isn't just language. The sources point to its famous classical music and the Bharatanatyam dance. Very graceful.
Are these things just performed, or are they, like, part of everyday life still?
It seems like they're deeply woven in, not just historical artifacts, They tell stories, often religious or spiritual ones, through these really intricate forms.
And what about festivals? The sources mention Pongal. That's a horses festival, right?
That's right. And Karthigai Deepam, the Festival of Lights.
So how do these stay so vibrant generation after generation? Is it just people show up, or is there more to it?
It sounds like it's more about deep community involvement, families passing things down, local groups. It's organic.
Okay.
These aren't just holidays. They're described as cultural touchstones. They reinforce who people are, keep the connections to the past strong, but in a way that feels, well, alive now.
Moving from sights and sounds to taste, the cuisine. Described as distinctly flavorful, deeply traditional. Food is clearly a big deal there.
Oh, absolutely. The research mentions the 6 tastes idea, trying to get sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, and astringent all balanced in a meal. And you see it in the textures, too, like the crispiness of a good dosa versus the soft, fluffy idlis. Polar opposites, almost.
Right.
Then you get the really complex, sometimes fiery Chettinad curries. Apparently, they use specific sun-dried ingredients from that area.
Ah, regional specialties.
Exactly. And the rasam, that tangy soup. And you have to finish with the filter coffee. It's described as rich, almost legendary.
Okay, you're making me hungry now. It's clear the food is more than just fuel. It's culture.
Definitely a pillar.
But zooming out again, the history, we're talking thousands of years.
Yeah.
The sources mention these big influential kingdoms, the Cholas, Pandyas, Pallavas. What's their lasting mark? Maybe something surprising the sources highlighted.
I think the architecture stands out most, especially the UNESCO sites, the Brihadiswara Temple in Thanjavur, for example.
Right, the big one.
Huge, yeah. But it's not just big. The sources stress it's an engineering marvel, built over 1,000 years ago, apparently without mortar, using interlocking stones. That implies some pretty advanced know-how.
Oh, okay.
And then Mahabalipuram, the shore temple there, that shows the Pallava's skill with rock-cut sculpture, telling these epic stories right there in the stone, and they still feel vibrant.
So stories literally carved in stone.
Pretty much. And the Cholas, they weren't just builders. The sources also mention their maritime power. They had this extensive empire, spreading influence across the sea far beyond India.
So wrapping this up, our deep dive into these sources, it really paints a picture of Tamil Nadu where, yeah, stories are in the stones, the flavors tell tales, and these ancient traditions are genuinely still thriving. It's described as timeless, proud, full of life, not just a spot on the map.
Which really leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? Something for you, the listener, to maybe think about after this.
Yeah.
How does a culture hold on to its ancient traditions, its language, its art for literally thousands of years? And not just preserve them like museum pieces, but keep them so vibrant and, well, alive today.
That's a deep one.
It really speaks to the enduring spirit of the place, I think. It's quite remarkable when you dig into it.
Yeah.